Welcome to the High Value Sales Show of Eversprint.com. I'm Malcolm Louie, the managing member of Eversprint, and today we're speaking with Jim Erben, the President of Erben Associates, a family wealth advisory firm. Welcome to the show, Jim.
Thank you for having me.
Jim, you grew your company's revenue from $1.6 million in 2014 to $4.3 million in 2017, a 166% increase. Before we talk about how you grew your company so fast, can you briefly share what your company does beyond my quick intro and how your company differs from the competition?
We help privately held business owners determine what they want to do with their business so they can achieve the peace of mind that they want to by having a plan in place for their ultimate exit or succession. And then we help them live happily ever after.
So how you differ from the competition is who you serve?
Or what we do and how we do it. So a lot of people work with family-owned businesses or privately held businesses that may not be family-owned. We're unique in that we're trying to help evaluate how a particular business owner can succeed or exit from the business, either to inside children or key executives or to a third party. And we want to make sure that they exit in style and are prepared to live happily ever after with minimal risk.
Right. So if you were to look at the landscape of other advisory firms out there, how would you say you do things differently beyond who you serve?
We start with a blank piece of paper and crystallize a client's objectives. And the objectives drive the plan. The plan doesn't drive the objectives. And one of the processes that I tell all clients to follow, whether it's with us or anybody else, is you have to figure out exactly what your objectives are, not your investment person's objective, or your insurance person or accountant, anybody, your objectives and your spouse's objectives. And then after that, you go build a plan around those objectives. No one has ever come to us and said, I'd like for you to figure out a way for me to take all the risk I can and stay in my business forever. It's the exact opposite. And so I think what's unique to us is I hire smart people that care. And we have great clients. And anybody in our office can have the jackass client card that they throw on the table. And what that does for us is it gets us very top drawer advisors that want to work with us. Lawyers, accountants, or what have you, mergers and acquisition firms, investment bankers. They all want to know, how can we work with more of your clients because they're such great people.
All right. It's nice having your clients react positively to the services that you provide. So you grew your company quite rapidly, 1.6 million in 2014 to 4.3 million in 2017. What were the drivers behind that? What were the three drivers?
We opened an office in Waco, Texas, run by Corbett Roberts. And he was such a great addition to the team. We had a tremendous amount of client engagements that were coming to a head at the same time. And we were very strategic and we were very focused. And we were actually able to transition some people that did not meet our company profile and replace them with people that did. And everything came together and allowed us to launch into a career year, of which we think we might exceed in 2019.
And how did Waco come onto your radar screen?
I've known the gentleman in Waco for about 10 years, maybe 12. And he came to me a couple of years ago and said, I would like to find an opportunity with you. I want to leave the organization I'm with, and took me about 11 seconds to say yes. I told him, you can come with me for, 30 days or 30 years, your choice. And I think now it'll be 30 years. So that was really neat. I had no idea that he was that amazing an advisor. Mm-hmm. He really is. I would put him as probably the best in the country at inside transfer. So he really helped beef up the team.
So he was in the business already.
Yes.
At another firm.
Yes.
He was looking to make a change.
Yes.
You guys had a conversation. And
yes. And we had known each other, and we had done some work together in some ancillary areas where he didn't have the expertise or desire to work with some of his clients. So we did. So we knew each other, and we had a pretty good feel for each other, and he was a perfect culture match.
And when did the Waco office open for you?
2016, about right now, April 2016.
Okay. So a big part of your growth over the past 4 years is really in the last 2 years then?
Correct.
Right. And do you have drivers number 2 and number 3 behind your growth?
Yes. I speak nationally on exit and succession planning. And we had a lot of people that started really chasing us, if you will, to help them figure out what they wanted to do with their business. And consequently, we had, we typically know every year who's going to be ready to either sell their business or to transition the business to kids or key executives. And we happened to just hit 2017 was just a magical year where a lot of those things came together with some client opportunities that we had been working on for years with them to help get them to that point.
And when you do your national speaking, people find you. Do you have filters as to how big a business they need to be before it's a good fit?
Typically 20 million of revenue and higher. We've had some exceptions to that where we have people that are growing like we are, that, if someone's growing at the rate we're growing, that's at $10 million, we're certainly going to, jump on board with that. And we probably go up to about 400 million, I think would be our biggest client. We had one publicly traded company that went private, thank God. Publicly traded companies is not where we like to spend our day. We like feeling the blood, sweat, and tears on the business, whatever kind of business it's in.
Mm-hmm. So the main asset of your client is the business.
Yes.
And then you help them with, when you say succession planning, are you talking about helping them sell their business and then with the asset, and then helping them manage the assets from that sale, or
think of us as an architect that draws up a blueprint, and then we turn into general contractor most of the time, where we're coordinating the alignment of the personal wealth and continuity plan of the business, which are usually very misaligned. We are evaluating a client's estate plan to make sure that their estate plan is in great shape. We put executive retention plans in place, and then we begin forecasting. We do business valuations, and we begin projecting when we think they're going to have enough wealth to exit their business, and then it's up to them once they get to that level.
Now, your clients, do they have liquid assets?
Sometimes they do. I mean, it might be a little bit. I mean, it might be $500,000, $1 million. One of the things that is very unique that we do is I tell clients, look, I'll act like you're my client. Malcolm, I know that, you grew your $300 million business by reinvesting into the business. But now that you're thinking about exiting in 8 years or 10 years, whenever you want, why don't we put some money aside every year and build some financial security independent of the value of the business? When you sell the business, if you have too much money when you retire, sue me. I'll take the suit. No one's ever taken me up on that.
Sure.
So we get people comfortable that, they know when they sell their business what the plan is, versus people that have come to us, two I can think of in the past, that have already sold a business and they're so panic stricken to make the wrong move, they don't do anything. Mm-hmm. They're paralyzed with fear.
For the clients that you work with, do they typically have some liquid assets that you can manage, or is it all tied into their business?
Typically sometimes a lot. We like to get people comfortable with what the plan is so that they understand the risks that they need to take. They want to take, but most people don't want to take any more risks than they have to not run out of money. We have 2 rules here, and only 2 rules. Rule 1 is don't let client run out of money. And rule 2 is if you forget rule 1, reread it.
Right.
And it's funny, we joke about it, but it's true. I mean, I've got clients with 100 million net worth that are as worried about running out of money as someone with a 10 million net worth. They all do. They
Right.
just want to make sure that they're set.
Right. But like, I guess what I was kind of wondering about is, it's like, would you work with a client where the bulk of their assets is in their business,
Yes.
and they might not, how would
Yes.
they pay you for your services?
We charge fees. We're
Okay.
a planning firm.
Okay.
So
You charge fixed fees then?
yes, we do.
Okay.
We charge an annual fee.
Okay.
If we ever cost anybody more than we save them, we give them all their money back.
Sure.
And I'm waiting for somebody to take me up on that after 27 years.
Right.
So thereafter, we charge an annual maintenance fee, an annual retainer. And so we do. I mean, we get involved in a lot of things outside of our scope because we've gained clients' trust. We're asked to go find a nursing home for a client's mother. We're asked to do a variety of things that sometimes.
Right.
But we like doing it.
Okay. Like many firms charge a percentage of assets as their fee. But if their assets are tied up in the business at this juncture and they haven't yet sold,
Right.
how do you work that out?
I'm not going to do that. We're going to charge a planning fee.
Okay.
I've had clients increase the planning fee at our proposal. We'd send a value proposition. I had one client that's actually exiting his business this year that says, I don't think X amount of dollars is, I think that this project is more because I want your attention. And he raised the fee. Doesn't happen very often, but
Right.
it happened in this case.
Okay.
So the investment management, the asset management is different. When we get to that, we obviously don't charge a fee for the business because they've exited. That's an asset management fee.
Right. So your model is you're playing the long game, right? Right. I mean, you say, yeah, we'll work with you now, help you get into succession planning. We have some flat fees to help you there, with the expectation or the hope that once they sell the business and they realize the value of the business, they'll continue working with you.
Right.
And then you move into the asset management model.
Yeah, it's even gone beyond that now. So I'd say up front, I'm again using you as a business owner, Malcolm. I don't care, if you don't want to use us or not. We're good at that, but your nephew or whatever is doing it, that's fine. Just know that as we're building the plan, if we see a shortfall here, we're going to address it with you. And I will tell you that now we're at the point where I've got clients that are concerned about who's going to handle their kids' wealth and estate after they pass away, and they want us involved. So we've had to create a separate entity to oversee the trusts that are created in their estate because they're very worried. They don't want their kids to have to go through this stuff.
Right. So you're doing more than just a simple portfolio management.
Yes.
So how broad are the services that you provide?
Well, I'm an accredited estate planner. I've got 2 certified financial planner. I have a business valuation certification. We're also very unique in that we have a emergency operating plan that is probably the most critical thing that I can think of from a continuity purpose. Most people think about continuity. I'm answering this question along the way. They think about continuity as we have a buy-sell agreement and life insurance. That's not a plan. Those are tools. Buy-sell agreement tells where the stock goes, and life insurance provides capital. But we got famous on a case in 2004 or 5 where a matriarch and patriarch of a business both contracted different types of cancer and passed away within 18 months of hiring us. And the succession plan we put in place worked to a T, but one of the most critical elements was we had a plan that included what was going to be said to whom, it was structured, and they wound up having so much business come to them because they were so forthright in communicating with their customers. They had record years for 4 years in a row after the passing. So you think about in your business, if you didn't make it home today, what would your receptionist say if they found out you were hit by a bus? What would your key executive say? And would it be, I'm looking for a job, are you opening? You don't want that. That doesn't help the business. Right.
So when you come up with these plans, how thick is the stack of paperwork to do all that?
It depends. I go back to a client that we have that's exiting this year that hired us in 2008. And we had done the most phenomenal plan for him, most comprehensive plan, not because we decided to focus on him because, we liked him more than the other kids in the class, if you will. He was so focused on dotting every I and crossing every T. His emergency operating plan is 40 pages long. We have handled just about everything except if they outlawed the metal that he manufactures. That's probably the only thing that we have, only risk that we have exposure there to. We've buttoned up everything for him. So it varies. Some people don't want to go in the comprehensive depth. They want a continuity plan, personal, some people want it all. It doesn't matter to us.
Right. Now, have you found that perhaps your Asian clientele aren't too keen on that concept?
Yes, but I don't know why.
Well, they don't like thinking about
that. I think that is it.
Yeah.
I think that is it. And there are a lot of, it's not just Asian. I mean, there's a lot of others it's not fun to talk about. I tell my clients, when we have the estate or continuity planning meeting, I'm going to bring you back to life before you leave. But in the meantime, I'm going to act like you've been hit by a bus and this is what would happen. And we joke about it. But, it's so important. I'm dealing with one client on his deathbed from cancer right now. And I just had one pass away a couple of months ago. And, it is so critical, the steps that we take to make sure that everything is done at that level. And it's not important until it becomes important.
Yeah.
If you and I are in a boat together and there's a life jacket sitting between us and you fall out of the boat, that life jacket got a lot more valuable to you.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
So. Sure. So the third driver, I think you might even touched on that, or we have talked about it, right? We talked about the long game, about how you help companies at the very beginning, well before they might even be ready to monetize their asset, and perhaps well before succession planning or emergency planning even enters their mind. How would you summarize what the third driver might be behind your business?
I'm going to answer it in a unique way. And when people ask us, when should I start? And my answer to them is, I'm going to go back to you, Malcolm. Malcolm, you have a twin brother or sister that has the identical family, identical goals, identical business. Everything is the same. You keep doing what you're doing, not doing any planning. Just, keep running your business. And he or she, your twin, comes up with a well-designed plan on how someday you're going to succeed from the business or exit, with a backup plan that includes a phenomenal continuity plan that's aligned with your personal wealth. Who's more likely to accomplish their objectives? And so that outlines the third driver, in that the comprehensive plan that includes everything allows you to know where it is you're going and make changes along the way. I find a lot of people come to me. So my third driver, if you will, is creating the plan and managing it. If it's like a sailboat. If you go start sailing and say you're going to go to X island and you put your head down and don't look up and the wind changes, you might be in Tahiti when you're trying to go to, some other place. Whereas if you have a comprehensive plan, every year we're making adjustments to our client's plan that allows them minimal deviation from their ultimate destination.
And this philosophy, this way of helping your clients, it's a third driver of your growth because it resonates with them.
Yes, it does.
Right.
It does. And you know what happens when that happens? So the backup to this third driver is they want to introduce us to people that we can help. And the having good clients, no jackass policy, jackasses hang out with jackasses. You don't ever see them with racehorses. And so when you have good people, they're going to hang out with good people and refer you good people. And it just continues.
Yeah. Yeah. I was also thinking how, because you focus on business owners, most successful businesses become successful through planning.
Correct.
Right? And not just planning for today, but
Correct.
Longer term. So I could see how the way you do business resonates with them as well.
Yes.
Right?
It does. Your business didn't get to be successful because you woke up one day and lucked into it. Took a lot of, risk, took a lot of strategic thought, and perspiration.
Yeah.
Whether it's high tech or manufacturing.
Right. And now going back into the three drivers here, you talk about the Waco, Texas opening, the key hire, key partner that you brought on board. You talk about national speaking to help generate business opportunities for you. And you talk about providing a service that just resonates with your clients, or the comprehensive plan. Now, in regards to the office opening of Waco, is that a strategy, something like that? Is something you will be thinking to do going forward?
Well, we've already opened an office in Denver and Scottsdale that's actually run by the father, Bill, of the young man that runs Waco. And he is the Obi-Wan Kenobi, if you will, of family succession planning. The depth that we brought to our firm with his hire, coupled with his sons, I will tell you that I think from a family succession standpoint, I wouldn't want to compete with him. So if I have a very intricate, detailed family succession, opportunity, I will bring them in, and they bring me in where somebody's positioning themselves someday for a sale to a third party. Because I know if I hand the family succession plan off and all of the intricacies that go into that, I can't hand them off to anybody any better.
Right. Would you say that you're in the niche of family and business succession planning?
Yes.
That's how you would categorize your niche?
Yes.
Are there many other firms doing what you're doing with such focus?
No, there are not. I don't know why. I always, it's kind of like snow skiing. When you're snow skiing, where there's very few tracks in the snow, I always wondered, did I miss the skull and crossbones that says, warning, you're about to fall off a cliff? But I don't understand it because, if you talk to somebody in the elevator and, tell me about your business, are you trying to figure out how to stay in it longer? They're like, no, I want to figure out how to get out someday and how to pass it to here, or, how to get the pressure off of me.
Right. I imagine most business owners, they're so much in the weeds, right?
Yes.
They're not even thinking about that yet. It's always like, I'll think about that later.
Very true. That is absolutely true.
For the second driver, you talk about the national speaking. Is that your primary source of new business?
No, but it's a fun source of new business. I love doing it because I love learning about other people's businesses. I mean, I think I have the best job in America because I get to go learn from a high-tech business to a manufacturing business. I mean, to a plumbing business, to a pizza making business, massive businesses. And it's, confectionery, micro tunneling. I mean, you name it. I just get to learn how did you start this? And that's the first question I always ask. Tell me how you got started in this business. I learned so much from it. It helps my business. Right.
Now, how does that, when you talk about being a national speaker, are you running panels and you're talking to business owners? Is that
No, I'm usually I speak to CEO organizations. I'm usually brought in to do anywhere from 2 to 3.5 hours of discussion on this topic because it's one of the top 3 topics from what I'm polled on CEOs' minds. Mm-hmm. They're worried about it. I mean, they're getting older. They may or may not have the kids or key executives to take it over, and they want to figure out what the exit plan is going to be.
So when you're talking about your conversations with other CEOs and learning about their businesses, this is kind of separate from the national speaking, right?
But I get to learn from them because I do small intimate groups typically, sometimes up to 50, but usually about 16.
Okay.
And, so I'll Joe, tell me what you do. And, they tell me about what they do. They tell me the heartaches or pains of their business.
Okay.
They answer to me, oh my gosh, if the ceiling fell in on me, I don't know what my receptionist would say. Or, I don't know, my key executives would be blowing out the front door. It would kill my business. I mean, I like being able to resonate.
Right. Okay.
Those kind of things with clients.
So when you say national speaking, small groups, not on stage with 1,000 people.
I don't think I can. I mean, I will. a public speaker,
Yeah.
but I think my impact is more on the small intimate groups where I can create dialogue.
Yeah. Yeah. People aren't going to share
Correct.
those sort of things in a
Correct.
group of 500, right?
No, you're right. Somebody in the back's not going to raise their hand and say, let me tell you about me, and that's really what I like. I like the intimacy of the smaller groups.
Right. So they bring you in to talk to a group of executives for 2 to 3 hours. This is part, like, who arranges that? What's the structure of that? And how did they find you to be the speaker on this topic?
I'm in a speaker organization and some CEO groups. YPO, Vistage. I have a large property and casualty brokerage firm that I work with. Recently, we signed a contract. We're doing work with them in that arena on succession planning, where they're bringing some clients together. We've got accounting firms, one large national accounting firm that has us coming in and talking to some of their key tax advisors so that they can go out and talk to their clients.
So it's not like a big conference and you're one of the speakers.
No.
It's more of companies, they have clients, they have a need.
Right. They bring them together.
Okay, that makes sense. And I can see the fit, right? I mean,
It's
property
perfect.
and life and accounting,
Right.
Yeah. Their clients have these issues.
Right.
So yeah, great
And
fit.
And so we don't do that. We don't do accounting. We don't do that either. So where we have an opportunity to introduce, someone to a property casualty consulting firm, we do that.
Yeah. Good. Yeah, it's a good synergy,
Yep.
good partnership.
Yes.
So for the third driver, providing a comprehensive plan that's resonating with their clients, how did that concept develop? Are you doing that from day one, or just kind of?
I would like to say that candidly, but I'm going to be honest with you and say no. Our new director of managed assets, or what I call the happily ever after department, I had him come in and go through all of our clients. We're meeting with all of them, introducing them. And one of the things so we've got a dashboard system that we use. It's a confidential client website. And we started doing evaluation on there's more risk that they were taking than they needed to accomplish their objectives. And it's great when everything's going well, but when you have a, restructuring in the markets, it's not great. And so we started looking at, having clients redoing their plans and saying, if you only need to have a 4.8% rate of return between now and the rest of your life, but we've got you targeted for an 8% rate of return. That's nice when things are good, but it's not nice when things aren't. So we have completely resurrected our planning to determine exactly what we need to accomplish you and your wife's objectives to live happily ever after. Mm-hmm. And we build parameters on if the business sells for X, what's the probability that, I want to be above 90% that you never run out of money. So that's usually what we target. Most of them are close to 100.
Right.
So that's the background behind that. And it is very, very popular. And we have a lot of people coming to us just for that.
Yeah, well, it's a nice outcome to achieve, right?
Right. Yeah. I mean, when you're 22, you want to drive the fast sports car. When you're 55 or 65 or 75, that's not as appealing.
Yeah. Speaking of the age, I noticed in the few emails you swapped past couple of days, you have some nice little signature line.
Yes.
And one, the factoid is very interesting, right? Talking about people living longer,
yes,
life expectancy and so on. But I noticed that the one you sent me today and the one you sent me yesterday changed. Do you have some tech that's automatically changing your signature, or are you manually changing it every day?
I'm good at a lot of things. I'm not good at that. Someone does it for me in the office.
Okay.
So I have no clue. I mean, we find these quotes and send them, but I don't do it. It's all I can do to operate my email, much less, I'm not the IT guy of the firm.
No, I thought it was clever.
Yes.
It's interesting. It's relevant to your business, right? Someone might go, wow, I didn't know that. And it kind of keeps top of mind presence. They'll think of you, well, yeah, wow, my wife's going to outlive me by 2 years, right? Stuff like that. Right? You're going to be thinking about these things. So I thought it was interesting. I hadn't seen anyone do it that way. People have the standard email signatures. Yours was different, and I thought kind of cool.
Yes.
So,
thank you.
Yeah, good idea. For 2019, what can you share about your plans? What are your targets? What are the challenges your team needs to overcome to get there?
Managing the funnel. We have so many people that we are being engaged with, and it's a great problem to have. We're using technology to help us. We do a lot of video conferencing with both new and current clients. And we've got to be able to manage the process, if you will, because we're a custom shop. Everybody's plan is customized. And we need to make sure that we deliver everything that we promise above their expectation. So when you have a conglomerate of new engagements happening at one time, we need to make sure that we've got them addressed in the process so that we can deliver them. If and when we do, we'll have a record year this year. Very confident of that.
So when you say managing the pipeline, one of it's their existing clients. How many clients do you have now?
300 and some odd.
And how often do you speak with them?
At least once a year.
Once a year.
In some form or fashion. Some I haven't. Some have, retired and moved out of across the world. But obviously the active ones and the ones that have retired, we have. They actually like chatting more with the investment management group after the fact than me, which is kind of annoying because I started that. And now I've got some old standing clients that call and I answer I get on the phone and they're like, I didn't want to talk to you. I wanted to talk to Dan or Jared. I'm like, oh my gosh. So that needed to happen. I had a lot of clients that were very concerned that I had no succession plan.
That you did not have a succession plan.
They said, we're very worried if something happens to you, what happens to us?
Okay.
And I was like, wow, it happened about 8 years ago. So I started building that and we have it now. So if I'm out of town or, if I'm gone for a month, no one would even miss a beat. In fact, most of the people here would be probably ecstatic because I wouldn't be bothering them during the day.
It's kind of funny how you were doing your business of succession planning, but yet you hadn't done it for yourself.
Well, what is that? Cobbler's kids have no shoes. So I wanted to make sure we had that done.
Yeah, it makes sense. Good to also show that your clients that you're doing the same thing for them.
Correct.
For yourself, right?
Correct.
So it's always a bit, sometimes I see these agencies that sell some service.
Right.
And I'm in the marketing space, right? So of course I see what other marketing agencies are doing. And it always kind of amuses me when you see a company that's a specialist in this kind of marketing, but yet they don't use it for themselves. Right.
That is
it makes
true.
me think, why aren't you? If you're the expert in this area. So now you mentioned that your people are busy engaging the people. That's why I was asking how many clients you have and how many you're talking to.
30 to 40 clients a year.
New clients.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Because it's pretty intensive in the first year.
Right.
And our client engagements go anywhere from, if it's a comprehensive one, we can get everything done in probably 4 months. But some, clients sometimes, they still have to run their own business and their own lives. It might take a year.
Right. And then during that time, you're speaking with them a lot.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yes. Yes.
Weekly meetings, that sort of thing?
Sometimes, but, then sometimes, we've got a situation with a law firm out of state that we thought we'd be done by now, and they've had to push things off. So,
right.
If it's comprehensive, we'll talk at least a couple times a month. They're talking to someone probably once a week in my office, but it may not be me. I'm kind of behind the scenes making sure that I like the design of the plan, that I don't see any risk or potholes that maybe some of my other people don't know about.
Mm-hmm. So I can understand why the onboarding part is time intensive. And then once the plan is set up, then it becomes more of a steer and adjust.
Correct.
Right.
That's a great analogy. After about 2 years, the clients are, they want to see, just call me, call me if there's a problem or I'll see you at the annual meeting. So we have annual meetings. But after the clients are out 2 or 3 years, they're playing with grandkids or sailing the 7 seas. They're like, call me if there's a problem. But it usually takes 2 or 3 years before that happens. And so then I'm probably touching base with them a couple times a year.
Would it be safe to say that you probably don't make money on a client the first year because it's so resource intensive?
Oh, no, I mean, we're profitable. I mean, we don't, our fees are not negligible, but we're definitely betting on the long term.
Yep.
For them before they become profitable. So, I look at it. I know I'm not going to make money on a client on the initial engagement, but over time, there's so many things that we will do that will be fine.
Right. Now, before we started the interview, I think you mentioned something about having a life insurance arm or unit of some sort.
So we manage somewhere in the neighborhood of, I think over $4 billion of life insurance, because that's a major component of a lot of the planning that we do. We're an M Financial firm, which gives us access to proprietary products geared specifically to high net worth clientele. And so we've got clients that need it for estate purposes, buy-sell purposes, deferred compensation purposes. And, it's a great tool when you can have it when you're insurable. When you had cancer like me and you're not insurable, that life jacket became, that life insurance, if you will, becomes more valuable.
Right. So now you had that before you had cancer, or you're able to get it after?
I had it. I had it before.
Okay.
Thank goodness. And, it's interesting when you're faced with a medical trauma, first thing you do is think about, is my family going to be okay? Or at least you should think about that. And when I had it, I thought I was $2 million short on the capital needed for my family to continue their lifestyle. And then I realized I had another advisor remind me that I had taken out $2 million of insurance in my own company which was essentially the exact difference. He said, that's why we did it.
Right.
So it's a big relief. Now it's more expensive because of the cancer that I had 10 years ago.
So for people who had cancer before, can they get insurance? Or?
Yes. Got to wait a period of time.
Okay.
Heart attack, same thing.
Right. Okay.
We've got the absolute best underwriter in the United States sitting right down that hallway. My clients love her. In fact, sometimes she's probably closer to several clients than I am.
Right. Yeah. Well, I had a discussion with another company that talked about the underwriting process, right? And the information that needs to be provided, right? It's like everything in your life.
Yes, it is.
Right. And I could see how your clients would love your underwriter.
It is. Yes.
Especially when you're able to get whatever is needed, get it right the first time, because it's a long, arduous process.
And then start the bidding war on the underwriting decision. Yes.
Right. So the way your insurance works is that you have a team that's there to help facilitate finding the right policy from many different sources. Correct. Okay. But you're not writing the policy yourselves. You're not an insurance broker or...
No, we do. We do we write it and manage it.
Okay.
So if it's needed, we do. We've got a situation where we've had a long-standing client that his business has grown so phenomenally, not necessarily for anything we did, but he's done such a phenomenal job and he's got a massive estate issue that we have to help he and his wife address. Right. So we're doing that right now.
Okay. So you said earlier in the conversation that your national speaking is not your primary source of new business. You mentioned referrals from clients.
Advisors. Other lawyers, accountants. We've got a signed contract with a national property casualty consulting business. So those things keep the funnel full. I mean, when you think about doing 40 new clients a year, the challenge is not finding 40. The challenge is finding the right 40.
Okay. So you actually spoken to many more and then said, I don't think we're a good fit here.
I mean, I'll use you, Malcolm, we can certainly do this, but I think you would be better fit to do the following. And I don't think we're a good fit.
Right. So for the 30 to 40 you're onboarding this year, how many other potential prospective clients do you speak to that you decided or they decided that wasn't a good fit before you find out 30 to 40?
That's a good question. I got to think about that. I'm going to say another 30 or 40.
It's not bad, actually.
Right? Yeah.
I mean, it means that filtering was quite good to begin with. Or your partners are sending you, they know what you're interested in and sending you good referrals.
Sometimes on my national speaking, I mean, I'm probably asked to be hired by half of the group and really only about 20% should hire us.
Yeah.
A lot of people should grow their business. If you're doing $1 million a year, you should be, focusing on your business, with having a continuity plan if something happens to you for your family, but you need to be growing your business.
Yeah.
So
I fired up my digital marketing tools, and I didn't see any pay-per-click presence for your company, and nor did I see a strong SEO presence either. Have you looked into those two channels for generating leads?
I guess the answer is not really, but we have. We went back in 2000, I got to get my year straight, 2016, and we started looking at where our clients came from, where our good clients came, the ones that we really enjoyed. Not the size, but the enjoyment, where they're just great people with challenges that we like helping, that's fun for us. And they really came from other clients. They really came from other advisors, and they came from speaking. And so, we're a by referral company only. If somebody heard this podcast and wanted to talk to us, we would. But we kind of want to find out how real people are about their objectives and what they want to accomplish, or are they trying to take shortcuts on something that they shouldn't be doing? And sometimes that happens and we walk away.
Mm-hmm.
We're walking away from a situation in New York that, they're asking us to do something that we're not going to be able to provide the value add that we feel we should be able to provide. And although we love the company and love the people, we're getting pigeonholed in an area that I don't think we're going to be able to provide that value.
Mm-hmm.
So we won't be hired.
So for the 80% of the people you meet on your national speaking who want to work with you and it's not a good fit, what are they lacking that makes them not a good fit?
A lot of times it's where they are in their company. It's their biggest concern is that they don't have any key executives. They don't have, they're not strategic thinking. They're, up and then down 50%. And, they don't have realistic objectives. You've got somebody that says, what's your business worth? And it's worth 50 when it's worth 5. So those kind of things where people don't have realistic scenarios.
Right. So I didn't hear you talk about a need to get more business.
Oh, sure. No.
Is your flow sufficient?
Yes.
Right.
No, so the answer is no. I'll never say that.
Okay.
Some of my staff may not like me saying that right now, but no, absolutely. I'm not going anywhere. I'm 55. I don't know what else I do. I love this. I may take a summer off in 10 years, but I'm going to come back and annoy everybody in here because I love working with new clients and I love my existing clients. Mm-hmm. So, I will never say that we're full, we're done, ever. I'll expand to handle that capacity. But I will not get us into a manufacturing because I like the intimacy and the customization of the planning we do for people. So we're not going to be doing 140 clients a year.
Okay.
Ever.
Okay.
As long as I'm around.
Like you mentioned you're planning on onboarding 30 to 40 new clients per year. Would you want to do more than that right now at this time? Like, would you want to do 60 to 80 instead? And if yes, how are you going to get that additional clients who are a right fit?
My staff hears this podcast, they're going to quit. But, I think we will probably grow to about 50.
50 new clients per year.
Yeah, I think so. We're interviewing other advisors to come on. We've got some people that are wanting to come on with us. I think that, I didn't think I was going to have this many people. I like my small, intimate shop. Now I got 10, soon to be 11. I can't tell you in 10 years that we're not going to be doing that many. But I really I would almost rather have 50 more strategic, a little bit larger clients, candidly.
Yeah. And how would you find them? How would you go about it? Would you just be more selective on the referrals and just say no?
No. Be asking our clients that meet that profile. Be talking to our advisors, creating strategic alliances. We've got a strategic alliance with the PNC firm I talked about, with a national accounting firm. So, and we're kind of pigeonholed on what we're doing there. But I think, to get 50 new clients in this country.
Who are bigger?
I don't think it's going to be that hard. I don't.
It doesn't matter working with their strategic partners, letting them know who would be a better fit.
Be growing. I mean, there's people that I've got a client that hired us this year that I spoke with 6 years ago, and they weren't ready, and now they're ready.
Right. How are you keeping in touch with them?
We send them a bi-monthly newsletter. This topics, all right, white papers if they have a particular. So these are people that have sent us a feedback form. Mm-hmm. Says these are the things I'm interested in. I've spoken with them. They heard me talk. And then, Malcolm, I think what you need to do is the following. And we give, everybody that is asked to work with us, we'll give them the things that they need to do. We'll just hand it to them.
Right.
And then when they're ready for us to be engaged, hopefully they'll call us, and they usually do.
It's not a bad model.
No.
Follow. Right, J. Abraham, right? You know him, right? He gives away tons of stuff for free.
Yes,
because he knows most people most people aren't going to be his client,
correct?
Right? Because he has this very narrow, large niche. Happy to share the information, but someone might be,
right?
Right. So give it out there, and if they're a good fit, they can
they're
talk.
Not gonna. I mean, most people, we don't want to do it yourself. Or I'll give somebody the cookbook on how to do it.
Yeah.
But we don't want to do it yourself. Or we want people that have great advisors, great long-term relationships with advisors.
Yeah.
That's what we like.
Yeah. I mean, the do-it-yourselfers aren't going to be your client.
Correct.
So, yeah.
And they're in that batch of people we don't work with, obviously.
Right. So from a challenge perspective, I know you like to get larger clients, more strategic clients, and your strategic partners can help you with that. Is there a marketing component that your team can do that might facilitate that?
I'm sure there is. Right now, between the new advisor that I've got going right now and a new advisor I'm thinking about, I don't know. Again, when I go back to the successful clients that we love working with and I look at their origin, it is very much a personal introduction type model. Not to say that we shouldn't be doing some other things. I think that we should. But right now, if it's not broke, I'm not going to try to fix it.
Yeah, many companies grew by referrals, but at some point, the flow from referrals, because it's unpredictable, because you can't.
I agree with that.
Yeah.
I'm not saying that my answer was right.
Okay.
I'm not saying that my answer was right. I'm just saying that is the answer.
Yeah.
Okay. So I think, I've never, you asked me a question a while ago, which struck a nerve. Do you ever see a point where you're going to be, not taking any more? The answer to that is no. We will always be growing as long as I'm around. I don't do anything in reverse. I do everything forward.
Right. 3 last questions for you. If you were to have a billboard here in Austin, and when traffic is good and it's flowing and people will drive by it in 6 seconds, what would be your billboard message?
Have you packed your parachute to exit your business? Are there any holes?
Yeah, you don't want holes in your parachute. That would be bad.
They usually don't work well.
Yeah, okay. And can you recap again who your ideal clients are and the best way for them to reach your team?
Privately held business owners. I don't care where you are. If I can reach you in this country, we've got clients, as I said, in 25 states. Typically 20 to about 400 million of revenue, have prioritized, they're family focused, they're strategic thinking, and they're curious about what they're going to do someday with their business and how they're going to do it.
And the best way for them to reach your team?
Website, phone call, I guess an old-fashioned letter, email, whatever, but any of those methods.
Would you like to share your phone number and your website?
Our phone number is 512-402-0250. 800 numbers are irrelevant anymore. We have one, but everybody calls for free now anyway. And our website is urban.associates.com. There's not urban and. It's Erben Associates, all spelled out, .com. ERBEN.
All right, fantastic. Jim, it's been awesome having you on my show today. I really enjoyed hearing how you grew your business so fast.
Thank you.
We've been speaking with Jim Erben, the president of Erben Associates, about his company's rapid growth. For interviews with other fast-growing, high-value sales companies, or to learn how we can accelerate your firm's high-value sales through automation, visit eversprint.com.